Amongst all the mayhem found in the Season 2 finale for the Owl House, a crucial detail for the final showdown was snuck in nearly undetected. This being the revelation that Emperor Belos does indeed wield legitimate magic. Magic more powerful than what anyone else wields on the Boiling Isles. And this magic was granted to him by the one and only Collector. This immediately got me thinking, if the main villain is granted power beyond his wildest dreams, what's in store for our hero to even the playing field? I mean, sure, Belos is, goop now, but with the Collector being a late addition to the story, rather than a planned out threat, I wouldn't be surprised if Belos actually ends up reclaiming his title as the big bad. Either way, no matter if Luz is facing off against the world's biggest witch hunter or Tumblr Dr. Manhattan, I think we can expect her to have a makeover heading into the final battle. One that amplifies her spellcasting to heights never before seen. Luz Noceda is going to receive a magical transformation of her own, and it'll break the internet. Here's why. P.S. Check out our dope Owl House inspired merch over on Toondrip. More to come for the fall. When the Owl House's third season was shortened down to 3 45-minute specials, the story was reworked in a way that allowed the crew to shoot for the stars, going all out and taking the story to places the crew never thought they'd go. Things that they always wanted to do, but didn't pull the trigger on until it was certain they had nothing left. We covered story changes in our last Owl House video, which included a quote from Beatrice explaining that they always wanted a character like Collector, but the Collector themselves was initially not in the picture. This is why the sudden explanation of Belos obtaining magic through the Collector fascinates me so much, because I just don't think they would mention that if it didn't have greater implications. Think about it. Prior to King's Tide, we knew Belos already had artificial magic with his staff and powers through the consumption of talisman souls, like his shape-shifting arm. Initially, one could assume his power simply came from external objects, and his search for the Collector was to obtain knowledge on the draining spell. But now my thinking is headed in a completely different direction. Now I believe Belos, or should I say Philip, was initially consuming talisman souls and carving glyphs into his arm as a way to put himself on equal footing with other witches on the Isles. As we saw, he was prone to getting picked on. However, between his body's constant war with those talisman souls and being at a disadvantage with glyphs, as it's been implied the Titan is trying to hide said magic from Philip, he knew he had to find another way. Somehow he caught wind of the Collector and their imprisonment, and I believe it was here Philip learned of the Collector's deals and the ability to grant magic. Let's just call it celestial magic, handing out this magic to others in exchange for both companionship and a promise to one day be free. Philip learning about this leads to the events of Elsewhere and Elsewhen, which concludes on Philip summoning the Collector for the very first time. After Philip made contact with the Collector and presumably gained the celestial magic, which granted him telepathy, omniscience, and ability to slink around all sludge-like. I know the latter makes just as much sense to come from talisman, but the way Belos' body morphs like this looks extremely similar to how the Collector spun his body around before making the Emperor go splat. It's also possible the Collector's magic is why Philip's life was prolonged as he's been living for hundreds of years. Considering the Collector looks and acts like a kid himself, it wouldn't come as a shock. With all of this in mind, let's shift gears over to Luz. Right now, she's very proficient with glyph magic, especially at her young age. However, as Lord Moldy Butt stated, she's still outclassed by your boy. Even with Amity, Gus, Willow, and King by her side, they were no match for the Emperor. Granted, it's not like they were all attacking him at the same time. Still, the Collector saved their asses, and there's no way they can step up to him. So, as it stands, it's either talk no jutsu the Collector, or they're screwed. This is why Luz needs a power-up, and there's two people she can get it from. First, the Collector, obviously. I could easily see a scenario where all hope is lost. Belos or the Collector's parents or some other big bad is about to destroy the Boiling Isles. And Luz, learning about Belos obtaining celestial magic through the Collector, begs for help. At that point, the Collector would be soured on friendships, after not only getting played by Belos, but I'm sure he'll feel some type of way about King once their game of Owl House falls apart. So with a big power of friendship moment, Luz persuades Collector, gets magic, and powers up. Alternatively, and what I think would be the cooler scenario because there's been a decent amount of setup for it, Luz gets magic From the Titan! We know the Titan has to be alive or aware in some kind of way. The show has really leaned into the idea that the Titan has been revealing glyphs to Luz while hiding them from Belos. There's a connection there, and I think they're going to pay it off in a big way. We know the Titan is insanely powerful and has basically reshaped the demon realm once he died. The death of the Titan gave us the birth of every demon species on the Isles. Titan's blood can create portals between the demon realm and Earth. There's the fact glyphs themselves only seem to work in the demon realm because they draw magic from the Titan. The list goes on. If the Titan's carcass can create life and disperse magic, I don't see why it'd be improbable for Luz to obtain magic directly from him. Or, what's left of him. Now, I don't see this happening until the climax of the series, during the final battle, as a last-ditch effort sort of thing. And I don't expect it to be a permanent addition to Luz's skill set. I simply see this as a short-lived transformation that allows Luz to be the good Witch Azura she always wanted to be. In fact, that's what I believe this magical transformation could look like. Her clothes shifting in appearance to be much closer to Azura's, with the typical anime hair to boot, talisman in hand. And if there's one thing I'm hoping for, should this come to pass, is that I want this transformation to really embody Luz and her imagination. Which, if this form ends up coming from the Collector, or even if it's just meant to rival the Collector, it'd make perfect sense, as creativity and wonder seem to be a big part of his character as well. I want to see Luz do crazy shit, using glyphs just by envisioning them with her mind, firing right out of her bare hands, no illustration required. I want to see Luz zipping all over the sky like Ida used to in Season 1, before her Harpy transformation. I want to see Luz manifest a bouquet out of thin air for Amity, composed of the petals from the iconic Grom tree. Tell me that wouldn't be the cutest shit. Luz should be at her absolute peak here, living her best life while saving the two worlds she loves with all of her heart. And that's the gist of it. Pretty straightforward idea with a lot of potential. I really can't see the Owl House ending without giving Luz the chance to be the ultimate witch she always aspired to be. So here's hoping things shake out to be at least a little close to this. But I want to know what you guys think. Will Luz get a Magical Girl Sailor Moon Super Saiyan transformation? Or will she save the day just by thinking outside the box? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, and keep the conversation going by following us on Twitter and Instagram at ARTWITHKODA and at Roundtable Vids. Special thanks to ARTWITHKODA for creating a phenomenal thumbnail on such short notice. He's the GOAT for real. Be sure to check out his own socials at ARTWITHKODA. If you enjoyed this video, please throw it a like and subscribe to the Roundtable for more great Owl House content. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Peace!